right on top of things, aren't you?
I've got one for you.
There's my favorite violin duet person. How are you, Jason?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. We just met, and I asked about a time to play this afternoon. In theory, this church, the church that comes in the afternoon, has this location from 1 to 4.
Oh, okay.
So I think we need to come at, say, 4 o'clock, and then we can practice our music. We were visiting today about the number of pieces, and so anywhere between 3 and 5, and I'm thinking that what we could do is find out how long it takes to play these pieces, and then get it, we need to get our final list to them by Thursday.
Okay.
So I think today we can nail down the songs that we think that we'd be most comfortable playing, and then present that to them, and they'll pick 3 to 5 of them.
Sure, sounds good. That should work for me then. 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock.
All right.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, no problem.
Stumble through it.
Motion of Hannah this morning. You can call for 5 o'clock with that.
Thank you very much, because there are 2 motions between you and Paul. We'll set up between.
You got one, okay. You want one too? Look at the paper. Okay.
You gave me two.
Oh, all right, well. there you go.
Oh, well, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Good morning.
How are you? Hi there, guy. You wrote your own name. I saw that. Yes. Oh, how exciting.
I'm sorry, I was in a thing all day yesterday. Oh, fantastic. Takes a while to get home until after 11, and my phone didn't work where I was at, so I was about all day, and I didn't know you needed it. I'm glad it worked out. No, but I asked them to do like on January 8th, and it was night, so I thought you got, so I felt bad that you didn't. But I'm glad it worked out, 'cause that's the main thing.
Good morning, how are you today? Great. Would you mind filling out a name tag?
Oh. So, really, I don't know where I'm out of the yeah, I was kind of in the way there. I got your hair cut. It looks nice.
Like I said, usually, when you're in that situation, it is, you're not doing training.
Okay.
Listening to other people, just together. You're in this kind of skills. If I was able to do
I guess I didn't even notice your setup before. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Working, so.
Oh, they're leaving the keyboard out there to keep it warm. All right. Good morning, Ellen.
Away. So I didn't think it was in the way.
Okay.
One fancy piece of equipment.
I'll say that, it's that high just a surprise. Yes, she and I, that's nice. Very smart.
Oh, that's why they wish they went to the other houses. But they're not having a job and being in 3 advanced placement classes. Evaluate that in light of what's expected of her and what she is. It must be stressful for her too, because she wants to have her job. I think she does more than all her husbands. I spent all night after.
That too. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll give it to the boss.
On your back.
That's what I
Good morning and greetings to all of you. Welcome to today's worship service. We are truly grateful to have you among us today. My name is Joy Hembel, and I'm your service coordinator for today. All of us here at All Souls welcome you. Here our mission is to seek truth, practice love, and celebrate life. Whether you are joining us for the first time or you've been a member for a long time, you are welcome here. Whatever faiths you have known or not known, or whatever your heritage, you are welcome here. Whatever questions you hold, whatever truths you seek, whatever sorrow you have known, whatever joy has filled your heart, whoever you are, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. And now for a few announcements. I know Minister Allan has a few, so I will ask him to begin.
It's great to see everybody here, and special thanks to everybody who helps make the service possible, including Carol at the piano. And Joy not only is the coordinator today, but she printed the programs, produced and printed, because our office person is not well. So thanks to Joy for that. Our annual meeting follows the service instead of our usual circle discussion. So we'll try to wrap up the program by 5 to 11, and then have a chance to just go out and get some coffee, maybe hit the bathroom, but then please come back in if you're a member, or if you'd like to simply sit in on the annual meeting. Everybody is welcome to be there. It's not an annual, it's the midwinter meeting, mid-year meeting. I'm still learning the terminology, because our annual meeting is in May. And there is a printed agenda and a packet for everybody, so you can pick that up also when you break for coffee. So we'll come back and start the meeting promptly at 11:10, so that we can all go home before too late. Enjoy the cold weather. Last call for the holiday appeal. We want to remind you of that opportunity to support a good cause in the community, which has been in the e-newsletter every Wednesday, and we'd like that to be wrapped up now before the end of January if possible. So if you haven't donated, we'd like you to do that. And then next Sunday is the first Sunday of February, and we're starting to have a birthday cake for everybody that month on the first Sunday of the month. My wife Janine has agreed to order the cakes and get them here. So if you have a February birthday, it'd be nice if we could know about it so that we know who we're celebrating. We don't have to know your age. It's not considered protected information if the year isn't part of it. So just tell us the month and day that you were born, so that we can celebrate your birthday, your February birthday. If it is next month, we'll do that next Sunday and going forward on the first Sunday of each month. Thank you.
Thank you, and as Minister Allan said, we are able to have this worship service because of the help of many. And I especially thank Carol, our musician, for sharing her music with us. I thank Terry for all of his technical support back there on the sound. And I know that Scott, and sometimes Janet helps Scott, does the coffee for us and make sure we have refreshments. And there's too many other people to mention, but thanks to everybody for all their help in preparing this worship service. We will let the worship service then begin by lighting the chalice. So,
Carol playing the prelude.
oh, I'm sorry. sorry, we will first have the prelude. Carol will first play the prelude in anticipation of lighting the chalice. Thank you, Carol. Now we shall light the chalice. And I'm going to actually read for the chalice lighting number 435, which if you would like to follow along is in the back of your hymnal. This reading is by Kathleen McTeague. And if you wish, you may join me in reading it. It's, as I say, back here in the back of your hymnal, number 435. We come together this morning to remind one another to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude, taking the time to look into one another's faces and see their communion, the reflection of our own eyes. This house of laughter and silence, memory and hope, is hallowed by our presence together. Thank you, Paul. So if you would join me in song number 1, which is number 18 in your gray hymnal. And if you would stand, please, as you are able, we shall sing number 18 together.
Away the pain.
Now is the time in our service when we have a story for all ages. Are there any people that are young and would like to come on up and hear the story? Come on up if you like. If not, that's okay.
Sure, she pulls the chair over.
Is this one working? Yes? Okay, all right. So I would just sit down here, and if you want to come up, you can. If not, that's okay too. I would just sit here, and if you feel like coming up, come on up. Okay, have a seat. Have a seat, and I will tell you a story. So if you notice on our program, oh, it's okay, you can stand. So on our program, every time that we do a program and we have a message, we try to pick one of our UU principles, one of our 7 principles, and relate that message to the principle that works out. So this Sunday, Minister Allan is going to talk about where we are in 2023. And I think what he's going to talk a lot about is how we relate to each other and the fellowship that we have with each other. And so he asked me to pick out a principle, and I thought the number 3, the one that says acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregation, was the one that pretty much fit in with what he was going to say. So then I thought about, well, what does that mean, accepting one another? You don't know? Well, how do you like to be accepted? When you meet somebody, what do you like them to do or say to you? Okay, all right. So basically, we want people to tell us that something that makes us feel good, right? We want people to be kind and generous and very helpful to us, right? Yeah, basically. So I have a little story here about kindness, because when I thought about it, I thought, well, being kind to other people, to me, sort of is the way I want to be treated. I want to be treated with kindness. So I have this little story, and it talks about, imagine if we start treating others the way we want to be treated. Think, feel, and speak to the others that we meet the way we want to be spoken to, right? Right? To be nice to each other? Isn't that nice? It makes us all feel good. How do we want people to treat us? Well, we want nice, right? That means with respect, empathy, that's a big word, but it basically means being kind, understanding, right? Being nice to each other. And so sometimes we talk about, well, what does that really mean? To me, it means treating somebody the way I want to be treated, but also be helpful to others, right? And so kindness can be as simple as giving someone support in times of need, with an I'm there for you feeling. Or it can be these comforting words. I understand you. I know what you want, right? And small acts of kindness can brighten somebody's day and make you feel really good. So I have a little story here about sharing, because oftentimes sharing is one of the best ways that we can be kind. This story is about a horse and a donkey. Now, it's not much of a picture. It's just a man with a horse and a donkey. Once upon a time, there lived a washerman, somebody who washed clothes in a village. This was a long time ago, before they had washing machines. He had a horse and a donkey, and he would use the donkey to carry the load of clothes from the village to the river and back. And he would use the horse for himself to go wherever he wanted, because back then people didn't have cars, right? So they used horses, right? So one day the washerman loaded his donkey with heavy bundles of clothes, while the horse carried nothing. And the load was too much for the donkey to carry. And when they were halfway through the river, the donkey got very tired, right? He had all those clothes on his back. So he decided to ask for help from the horse. And he said, "Friend, this load is killing me. Will you please help me? Can you share some of my load?" And the horse said, "Why should I? Horses are meant for riding, and you donkeys are meant for carrying heavy loads." Poor donkey continued walking with the heavy load. But after some time, the donkey got too tired, and he collapsed on the ground. He fell down. And then the washerman realized his mistake. He gave water to the donkey and transferred the entire load onto the horse's back. What do you think of that? After getting some rest, they started walking towards the river. And as they started to walk, the horse realized his mistake and thought to himself, "This is so heavy. I should have helped the donkey when he asked for help. I should have shared half of the load. Now I will have to carry the entire load to the river. From now on, I will always share the load." The horse and the donkey became best friends and started sharing their work. Wasn't that kind? Wasn't that nice? Yeah, so that's something what I think about when I think of how we can be kind to each other. Well, thank you for coming on up and listening to the story. Thank you. Now we will go to the Sunday school part of the session, if you like, and we will sing the children out. So if you look in your program here, we have the words to sing the children out. It's called Go Now in Peace.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the Spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Oh, what a good big brother.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you, Paul, to come and put water in our bowl for joys and concerns. I see that if we want our joys and concerns to ripple out into the greater world, we must have water in the bowl, which I forgot to do, so you just go to the back. Oh, yeah, I'll do that when you get the water. I guess I'm not following the program today. It's good to have people helping me. We will now turn to the back of our hymnal, number 434. And before we do the joys and concerns, we will do reading number 1. And again, if you would join me with your voices, I would appreciate that. This is an anonymous wish here, number 434. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. Okay, now we will do the joys and concerns. In this congregation, we have the tradition of taking a stone in our hand, warming it, expressing or silently thinking about any sorrow, any concern, or any joy that we have, and then placing it in the water to let those joys and concerns ripple out to be shared with the greater world. So I will begin by taking one stone and expressing my gratitude to all of you for being here this morning. I guess it was Martin Luther who said, a church is not a building, but it is its people. And I think that's no more true than at a Unitarian Universalist church, where we come together in unity with all of our own separate ideas of what our truth is. So thank you for being here and sharing this worship service together this morning. That's my joy. I invite you, Paul, come on up and continue the joys and concerns.
I'm Edie and Halkie. Everybody calls me Edie. It doesn't matter. I'll go by Edie or Ian. It's just whichever you prefer. It's just easier to pronounce Edie. And Edie Ann's my long name, so I use it professionally. Still thinking about our friend. Hopefully she's gonna continue with where she's gonna go from here. And we just don't know. We just don't know the status of where she's at right now. We just want her to be comforted wherever she's going, wherever she gonna be at. And, but we know that she's still in the hospital, and, that, hopefully she doesn't decide to go out. So that's our wish for now, and, we just want her to heal up. All right?
This is fitting because these are Sioux River stones. The Friends of the Big Sioux River will be having a winter film festival Thursday, February 16th at the State Theater. The films will be shown from 6:30 to 8:30. The cost is $10. If you want to go at 5:30, there's a cocktail hour, so it costs you another $20 higher. The films will be shown from 6:30 to 8:30 for anyone who's interested. They're short films about water quality and that kind of thing.
The Big Sioux is something to be concerned about. This is for my friend Don, who I've known almost my whole life, who came by ambulance to the hospital here in Sioux Falls yesterday. He's just a year older than me, and I was telling my wife last night that both his father and his older brother died young in their 50s. And since Don has lived to be over 70, I thought maybe he escaped that genetic problem. So I hope he's doing well.
Hi, I'm Scott. I just want to let you know I brought a couple dozen eggs, so if anyone wants some, they can meet me over during the coffee and cookies. I'll even let you pick your own colors.
Try that lavender white cake. I should have told you earlier. Slipped my mind.
Hi, I'm Marcia, and I am very glad that my granddaughter went to an AA meeting the other evening and liked it. That was Thursday evening, and she went to another one yesterday evening, so I'm hoping it's gonna help her get on the right track.
Okay, right here.
I'm John, and I learned this morning that one of our guests has a good son, and mother is not doing well right now, is suffering some complications, and I think we should all share her concern and give her attention.
Hi, I'm Kenny, I'm 85. I'm concerned about the legislature thinking of passing some anti-drag queen thing, and I hope they don't do that. Every year we seem to have something that affects our community that is mean-spirited legislators want to do.
Yeah, hi, Mike Huber, and take two stones. One is for the concern for the family of Tyrone Nichols, and then there is a family in Sioux Falls that is grieving the death of their son and friend. His name is James, and he was shot 4 times at a Burger King in Sioux Falls. And so, by the police, and so if you're interested, they do events on Fridays where they go out to different areas. Justice for Jacob James, Peter and I met with them yesterday, and so maybe you could follow some of their material.
Thank you to all who have shared your joys and concerns, and to all of those who are thinking silently about your joys and concerns. Let us take one last stone and have a moment of silence so that we can all think about those joys and concerns that we have heard, as well as those in our own hearts, and hold them in our hearts for about 30 seconds. May they all ripple out to the greater world. Now we're going to learn a new song. Number 129 in your gray songbook is called Let Love Continue Long. And most of us have not sung this before, but I know that Minister Allan chose it because the words in the song go along with his message today. So Carol is going to play it through the melody once. Okay, so if you will rise, and Minister Allan is going to sort of lead this song. If you want to go to the microphone, and I know you know it better than any of us, it won't help us learn it. Thank you.
Let love continue long, and show us the way. And if that love be strong, no word can have a say. And if that love remain the
lovely words. We will now have our second reading, number 444, This House, by Kenneth L. Patton. So 444 is again in the back of the hymnal. Okay, so we have the regular type, which I will read, and I will ask you to respond with the italics. This house. This house is for the ingathering of nature and human nature.
It is a house of friendships, a haven in trouble, an open room for the encouragement of our struggle.
It is a house of freedom, guarding the dignity and worth of every person.
It offers a platform for the free voice, for declaring, both in times of security and danger, the full and undivided conflict of opinion.
It is a house of truth-seeking, where scientists can encourage devotion to their quest, where mystics can abide in a community of searchers.
It is a house of art, adorning its celebrations with melodies and handiworks.
It is a house of prophecy, outrunning times past and times present in visions of growth and progress.
This is the cradle for our dreams, the workshop of our common endeavors.
I now have the pleasure of introducing to you our minister, Allan Saugstad, who's going to talk about All Souls. Where are we in 23?
I think I can summarize the message in 3 words today: better, balance, and blind spots. So, had much simplicity. I thought I should move out and, yeah. The song we just sang really had more inspiration than what I'll say, but we have a few more minutes to fill, so. Good, better, best. Never let it rest. Make the good better, make the better best. I don't know who came up with that as an effort to motivate kids in school. But I think we can say that 2022 was one of our better years here at All Souls. Probably not the best ever, but one of the better ones. Receiving more than a dozen new members and having more new people visiting us from time to time and continuing to visit time after time. That's really encouraging. And then last month I heard 2 people make a comment about the lack of parking spaces out here. So that's maybe a good problem to have too. And maybe some of us will want to start parking along the street here so that the people who come later, and especially visitors, would feel like they are welcome because there's room to park. So just to set an example, I parked down there today. Just telling you. A couple of other highlights, I think, is we've had a pretty good series, I'd say a very good run of messages. Can you think of any message, those of you that are here just about every Sunday, can you think of any last year that really just kind of fell flat? I can't. And so even sometimes when we had a short notice and had to make some changes last minute, we managed to come up with somebody who was able to come and inspire us. So that's encouraging. Also thankful for the financial stability that we enjoy and the fact that we're not worrying about money and begging people for money all the time. And stability in our leadership. The current contract runs for another 11 months, so we have that amount of stability to enjoy this year. The next topic is balance. And so what I want to do here is just to kind of introduce some extremes that we live with. And I'm a person who likes balance and doesn't like extremes. And you may or may not know that along with the famous Greek saying, "Gnothi se auton," which means know thyself, there was another saying that was equally important in ancient Greek, which was meden agen, which is nothing in excess. And so the Greeks were good at trying to find the middle road or the middle way. And actually the Chinese also had an appreciation for the middle way. And so I like to think that we try to stay in balance here at All Souls. And here are a few examples of how I feel like we are doing our best when we can balance the extremes. So one is the extremes of theism and atheism. We try to find some kind of a happy medium here and accommodate both ends of the spectrum. And so it doesn't mean being watered down and wishy-washy, but it means being all-inclusive. And so we include people that have one strong opinion in one direction and those who have an opposite strong opinion in the other direction. And so in some ways we try to operate like a church, and in some ways we try not to be too much like a church, because church isn't a positive experience for some people. And I never forgotten the comment that was made online to one of our people in a question that was put out probably on Facebook, which I don't read, but I like to hear it secondhand. So they said, I can't go into churches, it stirs up my PTSD. And so that's one extreme for some people. And so we need to be sensitive about that and try to avoid the worst aspects of church here at All Souls. In some ways, maybe we're more of a movement or an association or a cause rather than a church. Another balance that we try to find and keep is between being organized and structured and having everything kind of planned ahead, and on the other hand, being spontaneous and being able to go with the flow and be more relaxed and more organic. Another example would be having expectations of people, maybe creating a feeling of obligation sometimes, hoping people will show up, hoping people will donate, hoping people will step up and take a position of leadership. But on the other hand, giving people the freedom to say no and to be able to not be nagging people for more money and nagging people to come to church and nagging people to be on a committee. And so we try to maintain that balance also between having expectations and having freedom. Another balancing act is between our local organization here and the wider organization that we're part of, the UUA, Unitarian Universalist Association. That's a big mouthful right there. And so we wrestle with that relationship sometimes, and we are sometimes perhaps not totally comfortable with that larger organization. And we'll be talking about that more actually in our business meeting today, so it's a little spoiler alert. Another balance that I think we all have in our personal lives, but we also face here at All Souls, is the balance between being and doing. And many of us are very much doers in our careers, in our families, in a busy lifestyle, in a complicated world. It's go, 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 and run, 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 and try to keep up and make lists and keep a schedule, and on a treadmill sometimes. And that's the doing part of our lives. But we all know that we need a balance between doing and being. And so for some of us, myself included, it's not easy to take a break and get off the treadmill and just be, just relax, just kick back, find something that renews our energy instead of depletes it. And so in the same way here at All Souls, we may sometimes try to do too much, and maybe we risk burning people out by trying to do too much. And so sometimes we need to just realize that we can't do everything. And so let's try to do a few things well, and then let's be able to enjoy, to enjoy what we have, and not just be over-functioning. And then the last balancing item would be between internal and external. So we do a lot of focus on ourselves, our fellowship, our community, our relationships, our organization, our building. That's all internal. But then there's also the opportunity and the obligation to reach out into the community, to be a good force, a force for good here in Sioux Falls. And so the kinds of things that were brought up in the sharing of the stones, you know, to be concerned about the river, to be concerned about justice, to be concerned about the unjust proposals that legislators are making, not only here in South Dakota, but around the country. Those are all really important things. And so, as you may know, or you may not know, that Unitarian Universalists have proportionately always had a bigger impact than our numbers in the United States. And that goes way back to the beginning of our country. The people that identified as Unitarians, and some of them were presidents. You should all know this if you're new, if you're not familiar with us. Unitarian Universalists have always been on the cutting edge of social justice and making the world a better place, making this country a better place, and making Sioux Falls a better place. And so we try to find that balance between reaching out and doing good and making Sioux Falls better, making Minnehaha County better, and also taking care of ourselves and our own needs right here at All Souls. So those are the kinds of balancing issues that I think about, and I invite you to think about them also as we go forward and as we go into our meeting later today. And then moving beyond good, better, best, which is kind of a flowery, happy way to think of focus on the positive, you know, but we also need to be aware that there could be blind spots and there could be places of risk. And as somebody who used to sell insurance, I always taught people about risk. And so here, what I think about is there could be areas that we are more at risk than we like to think about. For example, financially, we've had for quite a few years congregations that were eager to rent our space. And so we continue to have that, but that won't last forever. And so what if we find ourselves not being able to rent our space sometime in the future? That would be a financial burden for us. And so that is a financial risk that we could face. And we just need to be aware of that, not be overly paranoid about it, but be aware of it and be able to think creatively and find ways to adjust if necessary. Another risk is the issue of leadership. We've been operating without a president, technically, for the last 6 months. That's unfortunate. We were very fortunate that 2 of our newest members jumped on board and became part of our board right away, but we still don't technically have a president. And so there's a risk of, in a small organization like this, there's a risk of burning people out because of having so few people to draw upon. And so we try not to pressure people into doing something they don't want to do. But on the other hand, then it is unfortunate when we aren't able to amass the core of leadership that is really needed for our organization to continue. So just something to be aware of. Another, I had one more. Okay, so in conclusion, just a few questions to think about as we think about those blind spots. We also can dare to ask ourselves tough questions. And so are we capable of doing more and doing better? Are we mature enough to delve deep into difficult issues and even divisive issues? As the song that we just sang mentioned, debate and conflict can actually be a positive experience if we handle it properly. When our wider society is polarized at this time, there's a temptation to avoid conflict at all costs, but that's not the answer. And so by daring to disagree, daring to listen, and daring to learn from each other, including those that we disagree with, we can truly be a light and bring clarity and bring tolerance. And so I invite us to think deeply about some of these difficult issues and maybe ask ourselves, have we ever made decisions that resulted in unintended consequences? Have we any unfinished business from the past, or unresolved issues, or repressed memories of our history? So let these questions ferment until another time. May it be so for us. And I'll conclude with just a couple of quotes from the back of this book that we gave to our new members. I can bring my atheist mother here and my Catholic ex-husband and my modern Orthodox trained Jewish children, and we're all loved. That's what we want to be here at All Souls. If you want a religious tradition that respects you and challenges you at the same time to be your best self in everything you do in your life, then this is the tradition for you. And one more. This church, from its inception, has been interested in changing the world. May it indeed be so.
Now is the time when we ask for any spare change you might have to help us do the work of this church. Of course, you can always contribute online via our website or Facebook page. But this offering in particular is, and this is the last offering of January, is going to go to half the collection plate proceeds today is going to go to the nonprofit Reach Literacy, Sioux Falls. I don't know if any of you have visited Reach Literacy. It's over near the Western Mall, near the movie theater. And every family that goes in there, that walks in with a child, gets a free book, a free children's book to take home and read with that child. Barb Peterson, one of our members who's now in Florida, told me about this. She loves to go visit it with her grandchildren, and they all walk out with a free book. So we had the lady, one of the ladies from Reach Literacy speak to us a few months ago, and we were very impressed. And so half of the offering in January, if it isn't going to another cause, is going to go to Reach Literacy. So this is your last chance to contribute to Reach Literacy here in Sioux Falls. The other half goes to the operation of this church. going along in the program, if you would read together with me the words to receive the offering. We give these gifts freely. We receive these gifts gratefully. We dedicate these gifts to the work of our congregation, serving human wholeness, caring for our planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, and loving one another. Now, Minister Allan will lead us in the final reading.
On that topic of loving one another, reading number 705 is a short one. In the interest of time, we're not having another song, so we'll soon go and have a quick break. Number 705 from Hosea Baloo.
If we agree
In love, there is no disagreement that can do us any injury. But if we do not, no other agreement can do us any good. Let us endeavor to keep the unity of the Spirit in bonds of peace.
Please join me in the words to extinguish the chalice. The
Chalice is extinguished, but the light goes with us out into the world.
something to eat, and then come back in 5 or 10 minutes. We'll start our meeting. Thank you.
Thanks again, Mark, for helping cook. Oh, sure. And chocolate cake. You never know what you're gonna do when you get here. Ever. Not even when I've been done it. Never knew. This is how we're doing it. Nice to meet you. Yeah, they secretly a little.
Yes, so
Winter
Very
camouflage?
much.
Winter camouflage?
Yeah,
Whatever you said, right?
whatever, yeah, that sounds good, I like that.
You know,
You know, yesterday we got to Sioux Falls, we played a roller derby game in town last night. And so Dean and Sharon were so generous to let us spend the night there, so that we could spend the night this morning.
If you need another place to stay.
That's good to know, and we drive down typically every Monday night to see practice. That's good to know should the weather just, you know,